Good afternoon, guys. It is Cub Master Ben coming at you one more time on this beautiful Sunday. All right, guys, so we're going to talk to our Tiger Scouts. Whether you're new to scouting as a first grader coming in as a Tiger, or you are a Lion who is getting ready to transition into your first grade year as a Tiger, we're going to talk about one of my favorite adventures, one of the best ones I think to talk about, and that is Tiger Bites. So we're going to talk about a couple of different points with Tiger Bites. We're going to talk about good and bad choices for eating, and we're going to talk about cleanliness, which is part of your scout law. And we're also going to talk about one of my favorite things in the world. We're going to talk about finger foods. Finger foods and manners with finger foods, but please don't eat your fingers. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about here is good eating choices. So what is a good eating choice? So a good eating choice, guys, is something that's healthy for your body, something that helps your brain and your muscles grow, and something that gives you the energy you need to keep going every day. All right, so real quick, we're going to talk about 3 things that are good eating choices, 3 things that aren't. So first thing we're going to talk about is what should we drink, all right? So a good drinking choice would be like a bottle of water. Water is a great drinking choice. You don't have to get bottled water. You can drink it out of the sink. I drink it out of the sink. That's how I grew up, so that's how I do it. But you can drink bottled water. Just make sure you drink enough water each day, guys, to stay hydrated. So what is a bad drinking choice? Well, as a Cub Scout, you don't have a lot of options for bad drinking choices. Well, one of the favorite thing of kids today is soda. Soda is a favorite choice for a lot of people, but it's really sugary. It's got caffeine in it, which isn't a bad thing. But especially as a kid, lots of sugar, lots of caffeine, it gets you all excited, gets you hyper. And all that sugar in your mouth, you don't really want that. So remember to brush your teeth if you do drink a soda or another sugary drink. But also make sure that you drink lots of water along with the soda that you do decide to drink if your parents let you, all right? Next thing we're going to talk about is snacks. One of my favorite things in the world to have for a snack is chips. I love chips. Most of my kids love chips. Most kids I know in general love chips. And so chips aren't that great of a choice, though. So chips, they're good once in a while, but you can't eat them all the time, and you can't eat them every time you decide to have a snack. Kind of mix it up, eat some fruits and vegetables, that kind of thing, all right, guys? But if you do decide to have chips, go for it. Just make sure, remember, you drink lots of water with it to help get all that extra cheese and stuff out of your mouth if you eat Doritos like I do, all right? But what's a good snack choice? Well, a good snack choice might be an egg. A hard-boiled egg for me. My kids love it. I love it. I like to get up in the morning when I don't have a lot of time for breakfast and eat just a hard-boiled egg. Hard-boiled eggs are really good for you. Eggs in general are really good for you. They have a lot of protein in them, and they have a lot of different nutrients that you need for your body to grow, help your muscles grow, and help your mind get strong. All right? Lastly, we are going to talk about a fruit that most people think is actually a vegetable. I don't like them, but I have a son who just completely demolishes them every time he comes in my house with them, and that is tomatoes. So tomatoes are a great fruit for you to eat. Tomatoes are actually really good for you. I don't prefer the taste because they're really kind of gross tasting to me, but a lot of people do. So if you eat tomatoes, go for it, guys. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different sizes of tomatoes, all the way from little baby ones you can just pop in like candy to big ones you got to cut up, right? So eat some fruits and vegetables, guys, all right? So lastly, let's talk about another bad choice that's not such a good idea, but everybody loves. Now, this is something that there's lots of holidays focused on it, and that's great. But remember, as long as you do it in moderation, or you do it a little bit and not all the time, every time, then you're good to eat it, and that is candy. So we're going to talk about candy for a second. So candy is another one of those things that's really sugary, really sweet. It tastes delicious, and we even have you eat it in Scouts when we make s'mores. We have chocolate, but we don't want you to eat it all the time, guys, right? So as you eat it, remember, when you're done, if you can, brush your teeth or at least drink some water to help keep the sugar out of your mouth, all right? All that excess sugar can hurt your teeth, and we don't want you guys to have hurt teeth, all right? So, all right, guys, we're going to talk about hand washing for a second here. So hand washing is something that we're talking about a lot about right now, especially with the coronavirus going around. We talk about, using washing your hands for 20 seconds with soap. We talk about hand sanitizer and mask and all these other protective measures to help keep you healthy. But what we forget a lot of times is that you need to be washing your hands anyway. You should be washing your hands after you use the bathroom, before you eat. Anytime you're out and about and you're touching door handles and all kinds of stuff, you don't know where things are. So anytime you can wash your hands, you should. And always use soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. All right, we're going to show you how to do that here in a minute. But the way we're going to show you isn't just by washing our hands and showing you guys how we do it. We're going to demonstrate it with this really cool lotion from one of our den leaders here. This lotion is awesome. So this stuff I'll put on my hands and we'll get it rubbed in, right? And it says it's lotion-based simulated germs. So when we shine a certain light on my hands, you're gonna see all the grossness that it leaves, all the bacteria or dirt, so to speak, all right? We're gonna get that rubbed in real good and we're gonna light it up, okay? We're gonna demonstrate if I just wash my hands real quick, like most people do, think they're good, and you're gonna see how much it does or does not get off. All right, and then we're gonna do it again the proper way, make sure we get between our fingers, get all around our hands real good for 20 seconds with warm soapy water, and then you'll see how much it actually does get off when you do it the right way. All right, guys, so we said we were gonna do this cool activity, right? So we've got these glow germs, okay? We're gonna put it on our hands here, right? Don't need a whole lot, all right? And we're gonna get this lotion rubbed in real good. We're gonna get it everywhere. You wanna get it on your fingers, in between your fingers, on top of your fingers, your fingernails, everything, all right? And then we're gonna get it right down here. You notice I'm wearing a watch and a bracelet. We're gonna get it right down there. Why? Because normally when you wear a watch or a bracelet, they sit up here on your wrist, right? And a lot of people don't think about washing down there, all right? So if we could grab that light real quick, guys. My assistant's gonna grab the light. She's gonna show you exactly what it looks like. All right. So you see all that wonderful white stuff, all right? Those are gonna be our germs or our bacteria and our dirt, all right? So this is how most people wash their hands. If you watch most people on day-to-day, just go in and they're done. But as you can see here, that doesn't really get rid of anything, does it? All right, so again, all that white stuff is the lotion, okay? So if I take my watch off and I take my bracelet off here, you can see it's all under my bracelet. There's still some up under my watch and up my arm, right? So this time we're gonna turn our water on. We're gonna let it warm up a little bit, all right? And we're gonna get our hands wet real quick, all right? So you can get your hands wet. Get some soap, whatever soap you prefer, all right? We've got warm water in, all right, it's getting there. All right, so while it's warming up, we're gonna start washing our hands, all right? So we're gonna work it in circles to get it lathered up, okay? And you're gonna wanna work all over. Make sure you get in between each finger, right? Get the ends of your fingers, okay? You're gonna get all over it, come up on your wrist a little bit, that's okay, because there's still stuff that cuts up there, right? So we're gonna get in between each set, and you're gonna go for about 20 seconds. So 20 seconds seems like a long time, but you can do all kinds of things to count the 20 seconds. My kids, we have them count to the number 20. Sometimes it takes a little longer, sometimes it doesn't, but we're gonna go here, and that should be right about 20 seconds, all right? So our water's warmed up, yep. All right, so we're all soaped up, and we're gonna rinse off. And make sure you get all the soap off, right? Make sure you get everything off that was covered before. Get it all off, okay? Don't use your hands to turn the sink off. I'm gonna use my elbow, all right? And now we're gonna see with the light, right? That's a lot better, right? So you see we got around our fingers, but there's still a little bit, and a little bit's okay. You're not gonna get everything, all right? But you're gonna get most of it, and that's the point, guys, all right? All right, lastly, let's talk about finger foods, right? So finger foods and manners. So we already talked about some finger foods, right? Things like tomatoes, grapes, sandwiches when you cut them up, right? You don't need a fork and a knife or a spoon for everything, right? So you got sandwiches, chicken nuggets, pizza, all kinds of things. So these are great for you to eat with your hands. I like eating with my hands. As you see, I like using my hands for everything, right? So when you eat with your hands, guys, the manners aren't quite the same as they are, say, at the dinner table with mom and dad and grandma at Christmas time, right? So normally, you want to make sure you use your silverware and you're cutting your food and that kind of thing, right? But with finger foods are awesome because you get to just grab the food and put it in your mouth. Now, I'm not saying reach into the bag of chips, grab 2 handfuls and just no. Right? Still be polite, be nice about it, 1 or 2 chips at a time, as much as you can handle chewing up without making yourself sick or without having to spit it out because there's too much, all right? So be cognizant of how much you put in your mouth when you're gonna eat finger foods, right? Like I said, finger foods are fun. They're fun for me. They're fun for most people. I just like eating finger foods because I get to use my fingers and it's less dishes I gotta worry about at the end of the night. All right. Lastly, we're going to talk about meal cleanup. And you're like, Mr. Ben, if we're talking about our hands and washing our hands, that kind of thing, why are we talking about meal cleanup? Because as much as germs and bacteria can live on your hands from the things you touch, it can also grow on your plates. So if you've ever accidentally left something in the refrigerator from dinner 4 nights ago for too long, or maybe that gallon of milk sat in the fridge from last week that nobody drank, you notice it has a weird odors, or maybe there's stuff growing on it, right? So that's bacteria, it's mold, okay, and it can make you extremely sick. There's funguses and all kinds of weird things that grow on food, all right? Those can make you sick, so we don't eat those, right? Now, some of those that you grow on your plates. They grow on your forks, your knives, your spoons, and even in your cups if you don't wash them. So after dinner or lunch or whatever meal you're having, you should take your stuff to the sink, right? Unless you're using disposable items. Take your dishes to the sink, rinse them off. They don't have to be perfectly clean. I'm not saying get a scrub pad and sit there and scrub. No, but take them, maybe run some water over them, get most of the stuff off so that if you can't do the dishes right away, you're good to go. Right? And always remember to clean your pots and pans, anything you needed to use to cook dinner. And just make sure your table gets clean. Make sure your ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, whatever you guys like to eat with your food, make sure that gets put away too, because that stuff is meant to stay cold so that it stays good for you to eat later on. All right? So you guys have a good night. We'll talk to you guys later, and stay clean.